Yes, Jackson, I think it means there's a difference in two areas. Construction-wise, Judge Hughes' order required what the Commissioners Court had estimated to be $10 million in new construction. We don't have to do that now, pending this appeal. The other thing is that her order prohibited the censorship of mail and laid down a lot of rules that the jail must follow. Now those rules are all set aside, and the sheriff can run the jail under the rules that the sheriff's office provides instead of federal court.
So obviously you look on this as a victory for the county commissioners.
Yes, I do. I think this is a victory for state and local government and for the sheriff's office as distinguished from the jails being operated under the direction of the federal court.
The rush to ship $1 billion worth of wheat to Russia is benefiting a lot of businesses such as grain elevators along railroad routes to shipping ports. Garvey Elevators in Saginaw and Tarrant County is one of the largest in the U.S. with a 20 million bushel capacity. Last month, these elevators were almost filled with wheat awaiting shipment to Houston. Garvey is now loading about 40 rail cars a day headed south, but instead of Houston, where congestion is still heavy, the wheat will be loaded on ships in Corpus Christi. Wheat has been reaching Houston and New Orleans so fast that an embargo was placed on shipments until the in-house wheat can be loaded aboard ships. R.E. Valiant, superintendent of Garvey Elevators, and some of his personnel said there was a shortage of railroad cars at one time, but that problem has been solved. Other businesses are flourishing as a result of the Russian wheat sale. Grain truckers are running at capacity, too, as well as river barges. Everyone connected with moving the wheat reports revenues are up, aiding the economy, even in the Fort Worth-Dallas metroplex. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move at Saginaw, north of Fort Worth.
Could you summarize for me very briefly what this will mean from the standpoint of the physical operation?
Well, as a result of the grain shipment to Russia and the embargo too, we've had to ride smart for the last 6 months.
How many? From Love Field, its cargo would be turned over to authorities in Nicaragua. And as the jet freighter turned onto the runway, Nicaraguan Consul Dr. Philip Rodriguez probably had the best label for this operation. He called it a labor of love. Jack Hill, Channel 8 News on the Move.
County commissioners to drop their plans to buy 600 punch card machines and purchase lever machines instead. I asked him what he will do if the commissioners don't agree.
We are then going into the state courts to get an injunction to keep them from using these machines. There is now in the plan or in the works in other states to go into the federal courts to bar the use of the votomatic machine or the electronics computer system in all federal elections.
Wischkaemper will present his objections to Tarrant County Commissioners tomorrow morning. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
No, sir. It's the situation is much better this time than it was 6 years ago.
Why is that?
Because of the security is much better.
Do you think the fact that we're in this peace talk situation now in Paris, does that have some effect on the morale of the South Vietnamese people?
Yes, sir. We are very optimistic about this, the peace talk, and I don't know what the future will hold for Vietnam, but we all hope and pray that the peace will be with us very soon.
And you punch either one of those, and then you are open to punch for the candidates of either one of the other parties or for the party of which you punched.
Use a portion of what we shoot. I think
okay.
I think we'll use just that.
Yes, I'm a native of Vietnam, but it's kind of good.
And English.
No, not a whole lot in English. No.
What was required? French and English.
No, it just depends on what you want to learn.
Wischkaemper says there are many persons in Tarrant County who lost their vote in elections last year. He claims it's primarily because the instructions on punch card voting machines are vague and incomplete. As a result, cards are thrown out by computers when mistakes are made on punching the ballots. Also, if a card is accidentally bent, the computer will reject it. 58 persons used the punch card machine improperly in Precinct 18 alone, a more affluent voting precinct in South Fort Worth. As a result, they lost their vote.
I don't think I've got enough eyes. They're good or bad or indifferent?
Well, it's not the commonest. Okay.
Are you from Dallas?
My response to Councilman Weber is that, as you know, the mayor appointed this committee to look into any irregularities within the Dallas Police Department. I hope that Councilman Weber does not indicate that this is an election issue with him, because I think it's a very serious problem that he would want his fellow councilmen serving on this committee, being Mayor Wise, Mayor Pro Tem Hollum, and myself, to look into all aspects before we make any data known to the City Council. I think if you do otherwise, that you're going to make snap judgments, and we certainly don't want that done on such a serious issue as this.
The contention before the court this morning was that computer cards are rejected when such a vote mistake is made, and that in net effect either the vote is not counted at all, or it is left to the discretion of some body as to which the voter intended when he makes too many punctures in the card.
But the response to this computer system has been overwhelmingly in favor of it from the average person that I've encountered.
One was left with a definite impression when the dust had cleared that the commissioners had made up their minds and that punch card voting machines would be among Tarrant County's acquisitions in the year 1973. Jerry Taft, Channel 8 News, reporting.
Well, just to name one or two, first, I'd say oral confessions in Texas, which is the only state in the union that doesn't have oral confessions. And the next would be, I think, electronic surveillance, which would be patterned after that, utilized by the federal government, be under the control of our district judges. And then, of course, the Sheriff's Association, who are members of our council, have unsuccessfully tried for legislation to transfer prisoners on appeal to the Texas prison system, and which would assist them greatly in their overcrowded jails.
Here is the demonstrator.
For the press, would you inform Mr. Wischkaemper that they were the same type of machine? Well, I know you don't believe us, but you believe the distinguished member of the press?
Whether lever type.
I think that it is, in my presentation, I made this statement, that I was for the lever machine because it gave you the right when
Real afraid waking up this morning that it probably will. The present marijuana penalties. However, Chief Dyson and several legislators don't agree with that. Why do you feel this way?
Well, I think the main thing this morning was the wind. The fire started in the roof area, and the wind, the line of the apartments is from north to south, and the wind swept that fire right on southward across the 4 apartment roofs pretty rapidly there.
What about the cold temperatures?
Well, of course, it makes it a little more difficult on the firemen, but I don't think that it delayed them any as far as attacking the fire. Of course, your footing is not as good as you would like for it to be. There's some slipping and sliding naturally.
on the computer, now here is one precinct 130. That's Tanglewood. There are 56 people that punched wrong on it. Tanglewood is up in what I would call the upper bracket of people that could vote on this machine. John B. Garrett is an attorney, punched wrong. Cecil A. Morgan is an investment man. He punched wrong. And on here is Inez Murray, punched wrong, and that's Judge Murray's wife. So if those people couldn't handle it, what do you think us poor ordinary citizens could handle it?
Police Chief Association. We are
to be made
at least they're supposed to put back to us this month.
Leonard Lennox Jr. is a truck driver, but he's not your run-of-the-mill truck driver. You see, this man has 750,000 miles saved driving, spread out over 24 years. Now, for long-distance truckers, that's not a fabulous accomplishment, but this father of five has accomplished it in the city limits of Dallas. Mr. Lennox.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
What is your advice to motorists who drive in Dallas traffic every day as you do?
Well, you need to be a courteous driver and respect for other motorists, and you definitely got to drive defensively. Stay on your toes and keep that distance.
You know, surely you've had a close call or two, though, in 24 years.
Well, one, but they're not chargeable.
Not chargeable. Very good. How about the ATA, the American Trucking Association? They've recognized you publicly, nationally, for 24 years safe driving. How does that affect you?
Well, I'm grateful for the ones who made the decision. Just very grateful to them.
Thank you. I know you got a lot of work to do, Leonard.
I've got to go, Jim.
Okay. Leonard Lennox Jr., 750,000 miles driving for Central and in the city of Dallas. All of it safely. This is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News on the Move.